Hi friends, welcome back. I am going to be continuing our science decomposition experiment, and we are in our second week of collecting data, our third learning target, and we are going to grab our materials that we use to set up the experiment. And remember that I used apple slices. I use the variable of sriracha, soy sauce, alcohol, vinegar, and my control. So you can see there. You're going to set up your science notebook, again, with your name. Your date is very important, and your learning target number 3, I can collect data. And then today we can take a peek at maybe the vinegar and the sriracha, since our observations from week 1, we observed the control and alcohol. So today let's look at the vinegar first. So with the vinegar, I can say for week 2 observations for the vinegar, it feels squishy. However, still a little bit dry. As far as decomposition, I think there's still more decomposition left in this apple slice. So that's what I would write for my week 2 observations for the vinegar. Let's observe the week 2 observations for sriracha now. For sriracha, which is right here, I can observe for week 2 that the sriracha is a little bit more shriveled up in comparison to the other 4 variables. So I can use the adjective of shriveled. I can use the adjective of a little bit more dehydrated. And when I'm looking at the back, I can see that the seed is still intact. And that is not the case for both the vinegar, the alcohol, the soy sauce. However, the control and the sriracha, this is the control now, does still have the seed intact. I believe the seed fell out of the vinegar variable because it was sitting right next to it. So that's an observation I can take note of. Now, after you've done all your observations for week 2 using these sentence starters in complete sentences and including your adjectives, I have posted a challenge here. The challenge is to compare your data from week 1 to week 2 using a Venn diagram. So let me show you what that looks like. So this is my Venn diagram. I have week 1 in one circle, week 2 in the other circle, and in the middle where you are contrasting, because on these circles, week 1 and week 2, you are comparing. In the middle circle, it's what week 1 and week 2 has in common. So I'll hold that up to the camera so you can pause and copy this for an example. So week 1, I noticed that there were a bit moist, a little bit. My variables, I noticed that the apple slices were still a little bit moist. They had some water left in to be dehydrated, and that is going to help the decomposition process. For week 2, I noticed today in my findings that the alcohol was more dry than the others. So that was my observation for week 2. Now, when I contrasted them, I noticed that they were both squishy in both weeks. So you can add more to your Venn diagram by your findings of week 1 and week 2. And then that'll be another data point to help you keep track of your findings and your observations using this Venn diagram. So I'm going to put this back in my safe place underneath my kitchen sink, and I look forward to seeing you at week 3, your observation collection for your decomposition science experiment. So maybe next week, some of these are going to be more decomposed than others. See you then.